Have you heard about the time the leader of Burkina Faso, Captain IBRAHIM Traoré, completely ignored a 48-hour demand from Jamaica's prime minister? The internet absolutely exploded. Headlines went global, and political circles were buzzing. Everyone wanted to know, why did Traoré, a leader known for his discipline and courage, just disregard a public order from another head of state? But this story didn't just stop there. It spiraled into something much bigger, something that left Jamaica itself in total disbelief. It all kicked off when Jamaican Prime Minister Andrew Holness made a bold statement during a press briefing. He demanded that Traoré issue a formal apology within 48 hours for comments that were seen as disrespectful to Jamaica's international policies. Everyone expected some kind of diplomatic response, maybe a formal statement. But what did Traoré do? Absolutely nothing. Complete silence. No press release, no media conference, not even a whisper through any back channels. That silence was a statement in itself. It was powerful, calculated, and clear. It was a refusal to bow down or get dragged into political theatrics. Within hours, social media across Africa and the Caribbean was on fire. Traoré's supporters praised him for standing tall and not bending to political pressure. On the other side, critics called him arrogant, saying his silence was disrespectful. But for those who've watched Traoré's rise, they know every action, and even inaction, has a purpose. For him, leadership isn't about reacting to pressure. It's about staying true to your mission. Meanwhile, back in Jamaica, things took a surprising turn. News outlets started running headlines suggesting that Holness's government was caught completely off guard. Political analysts began debating whether his 48-hour sorry order was a step too far. Some Jamaicans even took to the streets, frustrated that their leader had gotten into a public standoff with a figure as influential as Traoré, who has become a symbol of African pride for his defiance against neo-colonialism. Then came the twist nobody saw coming. While the Jamaican government was still waiting, Traoré gave an unplanned speech at an event in Ouagadougou. He never once mentioned Holness's name, but his words hit like a direct response. He spoke calmly, but with immense power, saying, "We will not apologize for standing with truth. Leadership is not about pleasing others. It is about serving your people and protecting your nation's dignity." Those words spread like wildfire. Clips of the speech started trending on X and TikTok with hashtags like "Chiaching Traoré speaks truth" and "Stand with Burkina." And get this, even in Jamaica, young people started sharing the video. They weren't seeing arrogance, they saw it as confidence, a rare kind of political honesty that they admired. Political commentators from the US to the Caribbean started weighing in. They called it a test of global diplomacy and leadership styles. Some argued that Holness had seriously misjudged Traoré's character. Others believed Traoré was simply reminding the world that Africa's new generation of leaders will not play by the old rules. The entire mood online shifted from outrage to pure fascination. Jamaica's official reaction was even more surprising. After realizing that no apology was coming, the Jamaican government released a very brief statement, saying it was reviewing the matter internally. That quiet response made it crystal clear. They were backing down. The diplomatic tension just faded away. But what it left behind was something much more significant. For many people watching, this wasn't just a clash between two leaders. It was a symbolic moment reflecting a major shift in global power dynamics. In one corner, you had a Caribbean leader known for maintaining diplomatic balance. In the other, a young African revolutionary who refuses to compromise his values. Traoré's choice to stay silent until the perfect moment made everyone rethink what true leadership looks like. It's not always about responding first, but about responding right. What truly stunned Jamaica wasn't just that Traoré ignored the deadline. It was how his silence grabbed more attention than any official statement ever could have. People started admiring his restraint, seeing it as strength, not defiance. In a world full of knee-jerk reactions and emotional politics, his calm composure was a masterclass. Back in Jamaica, the public conversation shifted from criticism to curiosity. Citizens began asking why their own leaders often seemed to react so quickly under external pressure. People started looking into Traoré's background, learning about his fight for African independence, his stance against exploitation, and his work to rebuild Burkina Faso's self-sufficiency. He became more than just a foreign president. He became an example of bold, authentic leadership. In the days that followed, something really interesting happened on the ground in Jamaica. University students started holding debates on sovereignty and political dignity. Call-in radio shows were filled with people discussing whether smaller nations are often forced to be diplomatic when they really want to speak their minds. And through it all, one name kept coming up: IBRAHIM TRAORÉ. People admired how he stood firm without being aggressive, turning a tense situation into a moment of inspiration. His words about dignity resonated deeply, especially with young people who are tired of seeing their leaders bow to global powers. Across Africa, his support grew even stronger. It felt like Traoré's calm defiance wasn't just for Burkina Faso, but for the entire continent. His decision to ignore the 48-hour demand wasn't seen as a diplomatic snub, but as a moment of awakening. It showed that leaders from smaller nations can stand firm, choose silence over submission, and still command the world's attention. By the end of the week, even major Western media outlets were covering the story, framing it as a symbolic power shift. They highlighted how a single act of silence from Traoré had completely reshaped a global conversation about respect and leadership. For Jamaica, it was a humbling but important lesson, a reminder that leadership on the world stage requires balance, humility, and perfect timing. When IBRAHIM Traoré chose silence, it wasn't weakness, it was strategy. His quiet refusal spoke louder than any press conference ever could. It showed he wasn't looking for approval, but was standing firm in his beliefs. That simple act of not responding forced everyone to pause and think about what leadership really means when words aren't enough. Jamaica's reaction said it all. Instead of anger, there was surprise, reflection, and even admiration. People realized that respect for a leader isn't just about titles anymore. It's about authenticity and courage. The whole incident was a quiet revolution in how we define leadership. It symbolized a global shift toward authenticity, where being fearless and value-driven matters more than just being liked. If this story resonated with you, hit that subscribe button and become part of a community that values truth and fearless leadership. Drop a like to show your support for bold voices like IBRAHIM Traoré, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Your voice matters here. Thanks for watching.